And I think he's perfectly fine with that. He just wants to sit in his farm, take care of his dog.
I think
he doesn't want to take care of his dog. He hates his dog.
That's right. I think it goes back to greed, though, because if the king had just sent a message that said, when that dragon comes back.
Welcome to Classical Etc. Margin Notes, a conversation about the book we're reading. You're in the studio with Memoria Press.
Welcome to Margin Notes. Today we are going to be talking about Farmer Giles of Ham by J.R.R. Tolkien. But before we start, I would like to actually talk about Frankenstein a tad.
Okay.
Ooh.
Just a tad, okay? Because I had a conversation with my brother-in-law this past weekend, and I realized that part of, he was appalled that I just wanted the monster killed. But
because you're wrong.
And I'm just gonna say that once I clarified that I wanted the monster killed right when it was animated, then he was like, "Oh, I get it," And Tanya had a similar comment this morning, and she was all about how Baxter and I have no feelings, and I was like, "No, it should have been done right then." She goes, "Oh, I agree with that." You don't, Max.
Well,
I don't agree with that.
I don't see how you can say that just the time in its life that is alive is when you should kill it.
I still stand by, no, actually, this is more of a comment of how other people are their positions they're holding. Because I still stand by, he should have killed him later too. But, which effectively is what he does. He chases him into the Arctic in order for him to die, right? To get him away from humanity. But the fact that other people are like, oh, it's fine to kill him. It would have been fine to kill him right when he was animated, but we shouldn't have done it later. I'm like, no, it's the same act.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you there.
I agree. Yeah.
So you wouldn't kill him at any time?
I don't. No,
I wouldn't either.
I don't. I think he shouldn't have created it, but.
Okay. All right. Well,
I agree with you. I think you should have killed him at any point.
The conversation's going to continue. Well,
Farmer Giles.
This is a much happier, enjoyable, and Frankenstein's enjoyable, but it's a happier story.
Yeah, we were talking about how none of our books so far have been happy. They've all been about death.
Yes. Well, and then we swapped out a couple of books and they got even darker. So
that's true.
But this one is still in and I enjoyed it. But first, what's it about as a whole?
I think we said it's Baxter's turn to do this.
Oh, right.
As a whole or the summary?
The little rundown.
Oh, the rundown. Yeah,
okay.
Give us a rundown and then we can talk about what we think the overarching themes are. Sure.
Farmer Giles, I really wanted to call him Farmer Giles, but I guess we're going to call him Farmer Giles. He's a farmer in Britain, in the Middle Kingdom, and a giant comes to his farm, and he shoots him mostly out of anger with his blunderbuss. And then he kind of gets recognition in his village, and this fame spreads, and the king hears about it, and the king sends him a note and a sword. And then later, a dragon kind of starts ravaging the kingdom, and Farmer Giles is sent to address the dragon, and he captures him and makes him promise gold to the farmer and all the citizens, and they send the dragon back off to go get the gold, and then the dragon does not come back because the dragon's evil, and so the farmer and a bunch of the king's knights go to get the dragon.
They only want him to come back because they want the gold, right?
Right. Yeah. They want to deliver the gold.
Yeah.
And the farmer and the knights go to get the dragon and make him pay what he promised. And the knights are killed. And then Farmer Giles, with the king's sword, captures the dragon, brings back the dragon's wealth with the dragon's help, and then usurps the king.
Well, he doesn't overthrow the king. He basically ekes out his own little principality that the king says, I'm going to leave that alone.
Yes, with the help of the dragon, yeah.
Yeah, with the help of the dragon. Yes. Okay. Anything else we need to add there?
Sounds pretty good.
Love it.
What's a blunderbuss?
Me?
So it's like
There's a picture.
old shotgun.
Thank you. Yes, it's a shotgun.
Yeah.
And
we need to define our terms.
Shotgun.
Yes, people that don't know what a blunderbuss is.
It's true.
But it can shoot anything.
He just shoves a bunch of nails and screws and stuff in it and puts some gunpowder and shoots it. Yeah. They were real things. Anyway, I loved seeing that in here. It was enjoyable to me. Okay, so as a whole, though, what do we think the story's about? What's thematically? What's it about?
I think first and foremost, it's about greed. The greed of, the two main antagonists, I think, are the dragon and the king, and both of them are basically blinded by their greed.
Okay. Max?
I'm going to go with nobility and Farmer Giles' kingship at the end of the book.
Okay. So nobility and Farmer Giles. Okay. That's going to be an interesting conversation. Okay. But particularly at the end is what you're talking about. Okay. Baxter?
I think government failure and incompetence.
Okay. Government failure and incompetence. Okay. I think it is about courage and I want to say providence, but I haven't thought that one out much.
Can I add something?
Uh-huh.
I think it's about pride in the sense of there's a contrast of pride.
Different kinds of pride.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. All right.
I might replace that.
Okay.
With what I said.
Okay. All right.
If we need to cut down.
I want to talk about the nobility thing too.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, then Luke, the floor is yours. Let's talk about what's being said in detail and how. So, do you want to start with greed and then we get to nobility?
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds good. So, I mean, I don't know. I think this is a children's book. I think we should say that first. So I think that, like the virtue and vice in each character are relatively apparent.
They're simple. Yeah. It's not a complex. They're not the people aren't super complex.
Mm-hmm. And like Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, his Farmer Giles likes his comfortable home, and he likes living there, and he doesn't want to necessarily go out on an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of thrown out into the world. But yeah, when the whole plot is driven by the fact that the citizens of Ham are driven by their want of wealth when they get the dragon.
Oh, sure.
And when they don't get the money, they're like, okay, we got to go get this. And then when he brings it back, rather than saying, the king says good job to Farmer Giles, but he more than anything just wants the money in it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there's necessarily an abundance like hidden or that the author's trying to say here, but it's just kind of obvious.
It is really obvious when the deal that the townspeople make with the dragon and the blacksmiths over there just kind of laughing about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he's never coming back, right?
Yeah.
But when the king hears about it, that's when it's very apparent that what the king wants is the money.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he wants. And so yeah, all of the antagonists, except for the giant. What's the giant's motivations at the very beginning?
Isn't he just hungry?
He just wants
he gets lost.
He's blind
Is that true?
and deaf.
I think.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Yeah, he's just kind of wandering
I
around.
didn't really know these
I think the giant is kind of irrelevant. I think it's just plot. Like, I don't think the giant is.
Well, right. And he ends up going home and just kind of talking about where all this food was, right? And then the dragons hear it. It's just gossip that spurs the dragon on. Yeah.
Does he have a name? Does the giant have a name? We were talking about this beforehand.
I couldn't find one. I can't remember. I think it's just the giant.
I don't remember there being a name for the giant, but there is a name for Farmer Giles, now that we're talking about names. And I love this. Aegidius Ahenobarbus Julius Agricola de Hamo. I love that. That's his real name. He's known as Farmer Giles. And the king's name is Augustus Bonifacius Ambrosius Aurelianus Antoninus Pius et Magnificus, which is also a great name. Okay.
And it's in Latin.
I just so enjoyed the references. But Tolkien's doing that, also situated in a very particular time of English history. It's like, well, we call him Farmer Giles and we call him the king, but they really have these great big long titles.
Yes.
But what's interesting is that Farmer Giles is only able to beat the dragon because of the sword that is from those olden days, right? And
Tailbiter.
Tailbiter, right? But Tailbiter also has a real name too.
It does?
Yes, it does.
I don't remember what it is.
I don't remember what it is either.
Count of Mordix?
Yes,
Wow.
yes. Thank you, Baxter.
Good memory.
Which is like
There's a lot of times where they say
Dragon Killer.
in the common tongue or the vulgar tongue is what they call it.
Yes,
And then he gives both names.
yes. Which I think is like gives the adults something to grab onto here, and see something that's underneath the surface, which is like there is culture, and that culture actually wards off evil if we can hold on to it.
Well, yeah, and it's this kind of sign of like the great knights of old used to kill the dragons, and the society's kind of decaying, and it's about like they're not killing the dragons anymore.
The government.
And the dragon, and the dragon itself is from the great and imperial lineage or whatever it was saying. It kept talking about the dragon's like epic lineage.
Yes, yes, his ancestral lineage.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and we're going to get to your government incompetence, Baxter. But Luke, you said you also want to talk about nobility. What did you want to talk about there?
Well, Max and I were kind of talking about this for a little bit, but
Again,
sorry,
conversations.
it was
outside
like
of podcasts.
2 seconds.
Okay.
But just, the whole end of the book is about how the king is not really a good king. And towards the end, after he defeats the dragon, I don't know if this is what Tolkien intended, but it talks about how he puffed up his chest as if he was a lord. Farmer Giles does.
Oh, sure.
And kind of how that act of virtue, bravery, and courage kind of makes him worthy to be the king. And that's what wins him the honor of all of his fellow villagers. And it's kind of that the king is not simply because you're put on the throne. Like that's not what makes a good king, or that's not what makes you king. What makes you king is a result of your actions.
Yes, but that really brings us, I think, to Max's point, because when you talk about the pride that he takes on, right, or puffing up his chest, like some people hear that as pride, right, but Farmer Giles does become like a good king, right? Like the people that are in his area appreciate the fact that he is who he is and he leads the way he leads, right? So what kind of versions of pride were you seeing here, Max?
I think that there's a contrast between good pride and bad pride. I'm gonna go simple there just because it's a simple story. But I think there's the pride of the king and his knights and the royal pride, I guess.
Okay.
And he's so confident. He shows up in Ham, and he says, "Just give me the money," and then he just expects them to do it. He's so prideful that he just assumes they're gonna give all the stuff to him, and he's overconfident. And then there's the pride of the Hamish people, if that's what we want to call them. They are when Giles defeats the giant and the dragon, they are leaning out their windows. They're like clapping, rejoicing. They're proud of one of their people succeeding. It's like a patriotic pride.
Yeah.
It's a good pride.
Okay.
And Farmer Giles himself is proud of his valor.
I think. Okay.
Go ahead, Luke.
I kind of Farmer Giles was interesting because I didn't think he was all good.
I don't think so either.
When he first defeats the giant, he's like walking around in Garm's like hyping him up.
Yeah.
I think that's like he's way in his head about something that first off, like the book said, is kind of luck. Like Garm found it. It wasn't even his own doing, and he just kind of came and shot him once. And I think he was way too prideful about that.
Yeah, well, and the reality is all he's trying to do is protect his own land, right? Like when he scares off the giant, it's just like, I'm stuck in this position where this thing's coming at me. I have to try to do something. The giant doesn't even realize he's been shot. He thought it was some flies. And he just was like, I don't want to go there then. And he turns around, right? And all of this meaning is ascribed to this action. It's a very interesting point, right? Do actions have meaning even if they're inadvertent, right? And even the same thing when Giles goes with, he's forced to go with all the knights to go try to get the dragon, and then his horse gets lame, so he's in the back. And then when the dragon comes out, so he doesn't get killed because he happens to be in the back because his horse is lame. And then, basically the sword does it for him. Right? Now he steps up, he realizes, like, I've got this weapon that the dragon's scared of, but these actions have meaning. But I agree, to go back to our original point about whether Farmer Giles has this good pride, that there's multiple places in the book where you're starting to go, ooh, is he going too far with this?
I mean more, I want to emphasize when I'm on good pride, the patriotic pride
Like
of the Hamish people.
The Hamish people, okay.
And I think I was thinking about this a second ago. I didn't realize this, but I think it could be a Cincinnatus-like story. The farmer comes, he's unfit to be a ruler in terms of, he's he's lowly.
Yeah.
And he succeeds, and the people love him, and he returns to his hometown. I mean, he doesn't.
But he does become king at the end.
But he doesn't. It's yes, but
it's a kingship that is at the service of the people, really,
right,
and not.
Was
to his own.
Cincinnatus
He's not
unfit to be?
No, I think he was like a senator or a general before he worked his farm.
Didn't they come to him and they're like, "You're the best guy for the job"? Right?
I mean, that is kind of what happens in here too, though. Like.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Obviously not with the giant, but with the dragon,
king,
they're like,
sends the sword, and he says,
"Yeah, we need you to do this."
We need you to do this.
All right, you're right.
Well, that's an interesting point. He doesn't actually send the sword.
Yeah.
Like the king
sword,
is like, what can we send him as an appreciation, right?
It's a gift
the giant, right? And they just like pull something out of the old storeroom, and they're like, let's send this. And he doesn't realize the parson has to go read what's on it and realize this is Tailbiter, right?
Yeah, he has no clue what's going on. Or the king does.
The king has no idea what's going on. Farmer Giles doesn't know what's going on. But they're both kind of playing their parts, which I think is part of the thing. It being a child's story, right? Children, I think back when I was a kid, I wasn't really like thinking deeply about what I was doing. I was just going around doing stuff, right? Yeah. And that's really the feeling you get about this. People just go around doing stuff. It's not.
It is.
It's a kid's book.
It's a kid's book. It's simple.
Yeah, and very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have different kinds of pride. I think, since we're getting into each one of these, defending these, is our second question of what's being said in detail and how. Before we move on to Baxter's governmental failings, I would like to talk about the knights. Okay, you mentioned the knights, but every time the knights are mentioned, what are they doing? I mean, they're just like the disciples, right?
Talking about hats.
Well, okay, sorry, not just like the disciple on that one. You are right. I mean, they're focused on what they're wearing. They're jockeying for like what our status is, which is what I was going to with the disciples, right? When like, hey, Jesus, which one of us is the best? You know, that's like what their minds are set on, rather than acts of virtue and courage. Which,
and they're so caught up in that they kind of completely ignore what's like sitting right in front of them. Like they missed the dragon prince.
Right. Like you're going to fight a dragon and you're not worried about the dragon.
Exactly.
You know,
and they all run away when they get there.
Or they get killed. Yeah. I'm talking about a happy story. I'm just kidding. Right. It ends happily.
It does.
Sometimes these things have to happen in a story. Okay. Baxter, governmental failure and incompetence.
Yeah.
This is the main theme of Farmer Giles of Ham.
I think so. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Excuse me. I think basically, I guess my thesis would be that like when the government becomes incompetent or doesn't do its duty, it is and should be, I added the should be on just then, overthrown by the everyman.
Wow.
Okay.
But I'm gonna add should be.
Okay.
Just to see what Luke says.
So when the government doesn't serve the people,
When the government doesn't do its duty and serve the
the
people,
people have a right to overthrow it. And they should.
But again, I don't know if this. I mean, did he overthrow? It kind of.
I mean,
it never really explains where the king goes. It's just
He-
kind of.
he
the
goes
government
back to
was
the
not
Middle
doing
Kingdom,
the
doesn't
duty.
he?
The government was
His-
not doing its duty for Ham, and so Farmer Giles took control.
But he didn't take control.
I think he did.
I
Did
feel
he
like that's
not?
the last.
Why
thing
would
that
you say
farmers-
he
The
did?
king is the king of the Middle Kingdom, right? And Ham is in the Little Kingdom. Is that right?
Yeah, that's why I was looking for a map. I think you are correct on that.
And the king
But-
returns to the Middle Kingdom, and he's like, I'm not going to come back to Ham and bug the people.
But at the beginning, it's recognized that he has authority over the Little Kingdom because
I think it's like a colony. Like
It
a,
is.
It's a
like-
colony?
it's like a. It's under because he says he offers like a nominal tribute to the king still
yeah, he
at the
does
end.
say
So
that.
Yes,
clearly
he
there's
does.
some like
Yeah.
there used to be a
he used to be in control of it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so the court of Augustus Bonifacius is to the north. And then you've got Ham down here, but the Aula Draconaria, they make that later. They build that later.
Mhm.
It's all in the Little Kingdom.
Also, I noticed that the people of Ham, when they hear about the dragon, they say like, "What about the knights? Like, where are our king's knights?"
Mm-hmm.
So
Like the knights should have been protecting
right,
them.
they say like, well, "There are protectors. Where are they?"
Right.
Yeah, I don't. know. I'm a little skeptical of that.
I mean, I'm really grateful right now for freedom of speech because I'm afraid of where this is going. But
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be, but I think that's more coincidental than anything.
I would make the point that I don't know that it is that they should be overthrown, but it is a natural course of events that happens, right?
Right. Okay.
So, it's not like he created a revolt. He basically just said, "Now I've got the money. I don't need to do what you're telling me to do."
Mhm.
Right? Like, and my villagers like me, right?
Right.
But he also knew that the king didn't have the power to come force his will.
And well, you were talking about the names earlier, and part of the king's name is Tyrannus, I think.
Well, his title is Dux. It's Dux Rex Tyrannus et Basileus Mediterranearum Partium. So and king of the part of the Mediterranean. Yeah.
Mhm.
Of parts of the Mediterranean. That's plural.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But yes, leader, king, tyrant, and Basileus. King.
Yeah. I'm not so. I don't mean to shoot you down, but I don't know.
I
if
like
that's-
it, Baxter.
Thank you, Max.
I don't know. Like Paul said, it's more coincidental. Or
You said that.
no,
You said-
like Paul said. It's more just a natural course of events that happens when you have a tyrannical leader. Then I think farmer.
Well, I
like,
wouldn't
'cause
say it was a tyrannical leader.
The farmer. He wants to act as little as possible. I think he just wants to sit on his farm,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
he's worried about. At the very beginning of the book, it says like he doesn't know much except like outside of his village.
Right.
And I think he's perfectly fine with that. He just wants to sit in his farm, take care of his dog.
I mean,
and
I
live
think
happy.
He doesn't
goes
want
back-
to take care of his dog. He hates his dog.
That's right. I think it goes back to greed, though, because if the king had just sent a message said, when that dragon comes back, you need to submit a tenth of it as tribute, right? Like, I'm your king, right?
Mhm.
I think that they would have been like, okay, fine, right? But the reality is he comes in, he eats all their food, uses up all the resources, and then gets mad because the dragon doesn't show up and he can't take all the money.
But you don't think all the mentions of like negligence you think they're all insignificant?
Oh, no.
I mean,
think
maybe I'm just like
That's the thing.
completely in the wrong here, but like I feel
think
like the
he's-
book makes a point that the king is negligent.
I think
and-
he's
and-
negligent and he's taking everything for himself.
And like the knights don't do
greedy.
anything. They say like they send a knight out every year to like go get a dragon. He never gets a
Oh,
dragon.
yeah, the dragon's tail that they're supposed to have for
Yeah,
Christmas dinner.
Like the knights don't do anything. They
Yes.
talk about hats. The king doesn't like. The king's never used a sword, which is why he sends Tailbiter. That's the reason they give
Yeah.
for why the king sends Tailbiter.
Yeah.
Like Man, I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I had written down that was
The knights like refuse to go the first time to get the dragon.
right.
They say there's like tournaments. They don't want to offend the cook.
Oh yeah, they don't want to offend the cook because he's already made the dragon tail
out of like something else.
Yes, out of cake, I think is what it was. I mean, it sounded wonderful, but I mean, I written down how societies crumble when they're comfortable, and that's the thing, right? They had cast out all the dragons and the giants from their area, and then because those dragons and giants weren't coming in, that's why they felt they had the safety to argue about their hats and their, have their tail made out of cake instead of actual tail, and I mean, if you look at history, that's what happens again and again and again, right? Mm-hmm. That's why Tolkien's such a great writer, because he's not just making stuff up. Like, he's using lessons from history. Is that when a society comes to this point, either there's going to be a section of your kingdom which ends up saying, we're no longer participating in this because we've had to defend ourselves. It makes no sense for us to send you money if you're not using that money to protect us. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's tale as old as time.
Yeah. Well, that's also very Arthurian, which this book is. But I mean, when the kingdom kind of comes to rest and there's no more evils to be fought, that's when Lancelot starts talking with Guinevere, and that's when everything goes bad.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean,
and that's David too, right?
Yep.
Like, David refuses to go out in battle, and that's when he gets in trouble.
Yep.
And Bellum Cataline, which Max took off the list. But
it was not just me.
Well,
it
no,
was
I know. I said I agree.
Between you and Luke, can cut us out of it.
No, we cut you out of it. Baxter was on board with it.
I mean, it's fine.
Well, he was on board with it
I
after
guess.
we
I was coerced.
But who's comfortable in Bellum Cataline?
What do you mean? Oh, the Romans are in the late Roman Republic. There's the fall of Carthage, and so they kind of lose their big rival, and then the Sallust describes it as a loss of metus hostilis, which is a threat of the enemy or fear of the enemy, which leads to the decline of their virtue. But anyway,
yes, well, and right, that's the role that Garm plays, right? Like, he's the one that's afraid. Garm's always the one going. Garm's the dog.
Yeah.
And he's always the one going, oh my gosh, there's this big thing we got to go.
He's the best character in the book.
You really like him, Max?
I love Garm.
To me,
I think he's funny.
Now
he makes the story so enjoyable.
I think Mr. Schaefer's going to say he reminds him of you.
Wow.
that was not
That's
in my
what
mind.
he was going to
Baxter.
say. I could see it.
I was going to say,
I would be happy if I was Garm. Garm is just such a joyous presence.
That would fit you, yes. Except when I was reading about Garm, since I put myself in the shoes of Egidius de Hamo, I could feel Giles's frustration with this dog. I don't like barking dogs.
Yeah, he's very annoying.
He doesn't bark, he talks. And barks. I think he barks.
He says
too.
help.
He says
He
help
says
1,000 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But whatever.
Can I
Garm is great.
Okay. You can like Garm.
before we move on to the next section, I want to know what you guys think about this. So I thought it was very interesting that Giles kind of befriends the dragon at the end. And we've talked about before in high school how the reason that knights go to fight dragons is because they are evil. And like, that's what you do. When you see a dragon, you go to fight it because it's evil. And we talked about how some more modern media tries to, when there's a villain, you try to befriend the villain. And that seems like what Tolkien's doing here.
Like
so I just want to know what you like. Do you think that's a problem?
Like Frankenstein, you try to befriend it instead of killing it.
Okay.
Frankenstein is not the villain, or Frankenstein is the villain. The monster is not the villain.
What?
Oh,
we can't go back.
No,
we can't go back.
We could.
But I do think it is also. I mean, I can see how there's a correlation there because the monster is evil. Like, it's just what it is. Like, you kill the dragon because it's evil. You kill the monster because it's evil.
Yes. So, but
I just thought it was an interesting choice.
So in older stories, you always just you go attack the villain because the villain is just evil.
Yes.
There's a simpleness about that, which is good versus evil, and the fact that Giles takes something evil, punishes him, but then they kind of have this decent understanding at the end. You're saying
I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. I just want to know what.
I don't know
what
if
you're
he
thinking about
befriends him. I would say like he's tamed. He tames the dragon.
he's domesticated.
Does
a
he
little
still
bit.
tie him up every night?
I think he
He does, doesn't he?
He
Right?
does.
And he's got the
No,
likely
doesn't the
lads.
dragon go back to his
He
cave
finally
eventually?
does let him
Eventually.
go.
Yeah,
But then when he goes, he has to like
he kicks out the
kick out
squatter dragon.
Right. So, and he wanted his money back. Right. Like he's not a fully reformed being.
Yeah.
He said his bad heart of hearts. He said like at the end, he says like the dragon was the narrator, I guess says this. He says like the dragon is still fond of Giles in his bad heart of hearts.
Does he say that?
He does. And he says at the beginning, he says like, he says like all dragons'
Yeah.
hearts are wicked.
Bad heart of hearts. The dragon felt as kindly disposed towards Giles as a dragon can feel towards anyone.
Yes. So he's still
evil, I think.
evil.
Yeah.
There's just a little bit of camaraderie going up because I guess they unite against the king, basically.
But they also have they have an understanding because Giles has Tailbiter.
right.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like there is this.
That's what I mean by like tamed and domesticated is
Yeah,
the dragon just knows he's gonna
Right.
die if he doesn't listen to Giles.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting plot choice that I kind of wasn't expecting when I was reading it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And but it is also a children's story that you want a good ending to that, right? Like things are through all of, the fighting and whatever, like not only does Giles come to and the inhabitants of Ham come to a good end, but the dragon still goes back to being a dragon. That dragon still exists, but he's not going to mess with the inhabitants of Ham anymore. Right. I was also going to bring up something else I was going to bring up. I don't know what it was, but it was a good thought. Okay. Is it true? What of it? Did we like it?
Which of those three questions do you want us to
Any
answer?
of them.
I don't know. I don't know if it is true. I think. I mean, it's not super profound, so it's hard to exactly. It doesn't address things that are, like
Controversial.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's so simple that it's kind of hard to say, this is true or false.
Well, but I think in this sort of context, one of the lenses I'm reading, or I would answer this question is, if I were reading this to a child, would I have any reservations? Right? Because there are children's books that are just not good.
Yeah.
Right? They're not true. They're not reflective of reality, whatever it is. Right? And this is one that, from my perspective, it's fun. And there's enough going on that entertains me that I think would catch the engagement of a child, but they would also see how greed leads you to bad things and, what it means to defend your land and what it means to be patriotic and all that kind of stuff.
I think it's true in the sense that it's a good story that addresses some things well.
Okay.
And it doesn't comment on anything incorrectly.
Okay.
I think it's good. I mean, yeah, I think it's true. Yeah. I think it's a simple story, like Max said, and maybe I tried to read in too much to the whole government incompetence thing, but I think that setting that aside, it's true. I think, and I would have no reservations.
Okay.
Reading this to a child.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't have too much to say, but I do see the value in. I mean, I'm all for reading children's literature as an adult. I think that's a great thing to do.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I wasn't the biggest fan,
Some
honestly.
hesitation.
I don't know if I would read it again. That's what I'll
I
say.
loved it.
Really?
I was
Really? You loved it?
Oh yeah.
It was just okay.
Really? I didn't love it.
Like this is
Maybe
It was just fun. I mean, it was like reading like just a little short
it's
story.
quick, which is
It was.
It's
It
nice.
was a quick read. I mean, it's only like 60 pages.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
you like characters. There's good guys and bad guys. Like it's a good story.
Was there a good guy? Like a good
Farmer Giles.
Is he
Garm.
he's good? Is he? I don't know.
I think he is good, but he's good in the sense
He's
of
a little rough around the edges, but he's a good
That's
guy.
true. Okay.
I don't think he's heroic, but I think he's just your standard good guy.
He's the
I
common.
would
He's
put
the
Luke as
common
something.
I
man.
feel like Luke has something to say. Yeah,
I think
Luke's-
that's
I don't
like
know about that.
Tolkien's whole thing is that like every even the common people desire to be heroes, and the common people can be heroes. And
Bilbo.
he becomes the hero of his story. That's what happens with Bilbo and Frodo. Happens with Farmer Giles.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
This is scaled down a little bit though. Than
Oh,
Lord
of
the
course,
Rings.
of course.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I mean,
but that's what I'm saying is that like to really make the point that your average person, right, your average hobbit,
Mhm.
right, of like Bilbo or Frodo can do something great. You needed something. You needed a greater story.
Yeah,
I don't think Farmer Giles ever makes a heroic decision by his own volition. He's forced into it in every form, right? Frodo and Sam make heroic decisions
Mhm.
by their own decision.
I mean, he still becomes. I would still argue that he's the hero of Ham at the end of the book. He
I think
goes
to,
out
to the
and-
Hamtonians, yes.
So we're going with Hamish.
The Hamish people.
The Hammers.
But if the adjectival could be Hamish, but we need a
Hamitonians.
Hamiltonians.
Hamites.
Hamitonians.
Hamites.
Hamites? Oh,
The Hamites.
oh, that has
The
some implications.
Hammies.
Anyway, I think to them he is your hero, but I think we're given a picture inside of him that basically shows that your hand may be forced sometimes, but as long as you are I don't know if I want to say this, like fundamentally having the right attitude or orientation of I want to protect my people, I want to protect my own stuff, right? Like I'm invested in my community, like things are going to go well if that's what you're doing, right?
Mhm.
But I don't think if we're going to define hero as somebody who's got like courage over and above, like he's forced into it.
I mean, it says at the end, it must be admitted that Giles owed his rise in a large measure to luck, though he showed some wits in the use of it. I think even if like you're put in a position, you still have to go through with the act. And I mean, I mean, he's not the hero that Frodo is or Sam, but I still don't know how you could.
I mean, that's true. I guess if I really think about the dragon and the giant, most people are either hidden in their houses or when they see it, they turn and run.
Mhm.
So maybe that is the heroic courage.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, I mean, he's like I said, he's no Sam,
Yeah.
but I still think that on some smaller scale.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I always think of, Sam is plays a huge part, but I always think of Frodo as more courageous than Sam. But anyway, we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So we liked it. No, you all kind of liked it. Max and I think, really enjoyed it.
I loved it. I didn't. It was more of a just enjoyment, kind of enjoy the story.
Yeah. Nothing. Not
It
a
wasn't
great
like, oh,
book.
this moved me in a big way. Because
Right.
it didn't. It was just a good story.
Yeah, but it's
Right.
not trying. It's also not trying to be a great
Right.
book, and I think we all know
That's
that.
right. Well, and I think it's important to note that Tolkien intended to write this for his kids, and it's you notice it,
Yeah.
right? Like he just, and copy most of us has his first manuscript version, which I didn't read, but the main what the main story is, where he went back after he wrote it for his kids and tried to kind of flesh it out some.
Mhm.
And I think you notice that. But this is a story that I would read again and again and again, I think, to some children.
I think so too.
I think it's a good story for children.
Yeah.
I think it's also a good gateway into Tolkien.
It is for somebody who who thinks they may not like him.
Or even for kids to get them knowing who he is before they read something
Yeah, but
Like,
you
I
I
think
would if I was an adult, I would go right into The Hobbit.
if you're an adult, yes.
I think this could be a pre-Hobbit read.
it could be a pre-Hobbit read for a young child. I think children grow up so fast, right? Like if you were to miss this and your kid's 12 and you're like, well, just go read The Hobbit, right? But I think this could be read younger. I could totally see one of our former foster kids. I could see her. She's like 8 now. I could totally see her just loving this, reading this at night every night. So, yeah. All right. Well, next episode, we're not doing something nearly as happy and fun.
The opposite.
But it is short.
It's true.
And it's a great story. I think plenty to talk about. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I'm
gonna be
excited.
crazy.
Never read it.
Have you read it, Max?
I've not read it.
I've never read it.
All right, we've got new eyes on this story. Come join us next time.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Margin Notes. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by liking this video or sharing it with a friend. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop when we post new videos. We're so glad you were here. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.